So hi everybody and welcome to this week's video of RBX Excel videos. This week I'm gonna try to teach you something about the if and the and the or function, and especially a combination between them. Please enjoy the video. If you like it, please give it a like and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to see more of my videos. So in this video I'm gonna tell you everything about combining the if function with the and or function. So by combining that you can do nice things with the if function, and I have 3 examples here which I'm gonna show you. The first example is a combination of the if and the and function. In this way you can add multiple logical tests to one if function. And we are going to create a function that gives true if the value 1 is higher than 2 and lower than 8. So I'm gonna make a function. I'm starting with the equal sign and I type my if function. I open my function with my opening brackets, and at the place of my logical test I'm gonna use the and function in this case, because I have 2 conditions which need to be met. And I'm gonna just type and I open my and function with my opening brackets. My first logical test will be that value 1 is higher than 2. So this cell I6 needs to be higher than 2. I can just type a semicolon to go to the second logical test, because I typed my and function. My second logical test is that the value must be lower than 8. So value 1, which is I6, needs to be lower than 8. I can just type my closing bracket to close my and function. And you see Excel says I'm in the logical test of my if function. I can type a semicolon because my logical test is ready. The value if true, I can just type the text OK. And my value if false, I can just type the text not OK. Text always between quotation marks and a function, and I can close my function, my if function, with a closing bracket. I can press enter and you see there is no value in I6, so it's not meeting our requirement, so it's not OK. We said the value must be higher than 2 and lower than 8. So when I type, for example, a 6 in this cell, it must change to OK. So let's check that. Type a 6, press enter, and you see this is OK. I can type a 2, press enter, this is not OK because it needs to be higher than 2. So a 3 would be OK because it's higher than 2 and lower than 8. When I enter a 9, it's meeting our first requirement because it's higher than 2, but it's not meeting our second requirement, which was that the value must be lower than 8. So this is not OK. So this is an example of the if function combined with the and function. I can also combine the if function with the or function. So in this case, I can make a function here, and value 1 is lower than 4 or higher than 8. So it only needs to meet one of the 2 requirements to get that OK. So I can create this function by starting with an equal sign and type my if function again. I'm always starting with my if. I can type my opening brackets to enter my logical test, like Excel is saying here. And in this case, like I already said, we are going to use the or function because it needs only to meet one of the requirements. I type or and I open my or function with the opening bracket. And again, I am in my first logical test of my or function. Excel is saying that to me in this little box. So my first logical test is that value 1, which is in this case I10, is lower than 4. And my second logical test is that the value 1 is higher than 8. So this value 1, which is I10, is higher than 8. I can close my OR function with my closing brackets. I can type a semicolon to go to the value if true. The value if true is the text OK. I can type another semicolon to go to the value if false, and that will be the text not OK. I can close my if function with my closing bracket, press enter, and it says OK. Well, there's no value in this cell, but when I type the value 3, it must be OK. I can check that, press 3, press enter, and it's OK, because it's lower than 4, which is one of my requirements, and it's not higher than 8. But like I used the OR function, it only needs to meet one of the two requirements. So when I type a 9, it meets the second requirement, which says the value needs to be higher than 8. So it's still okay. Well, when I type the value 6, it is not lower than 8 and it's not higher than 6. So that must return a not okay. And like we checked at the moment, it's returning a not okay. So that's the combination of an if and an or function. Well, we can make this a little bit more difficult by combining the if and the and the or. So we can say if value 1 is 2 or 4 and value 2 is 6 or 8, then the function must return an OK. So how can we create that function? I'm going to type my function here. I'm going to start with the equal sign. And like always, I'm starting my function with the if function. Type if and type an opening bracket to open my function. In this case, I'm starting with the AND function. Just type AND and type my opening bracket. Well, now I need the OR function because we're going to enter these two requirements. Value 1 is 2 or 4. So I'm going to type OR, opening bracket, value 1, which is I14, equals 2, or, so semicolon to go to the second logical test, I14 equals 4. Closing bracket to close my OR function. You can see I'm in the second logical test of my OR function. My OR function has only 2 logical tests, so I can close my OR function. Now I'm back in the first logical test of my AND function. So I can type a semicolon to go to the second logical test of my AND function, which is again an OR function. Type OR, type an opening bracket, and we are going to value 2, which must be 6 or 8. So I can select my I15 cell, which is value 2, and it needs to equal 6, a semicolon to go to the second logical test of my OR function. I15 needs to equal 8. Closing brackets to close my OR function, and you see I'm back in the second logical test of my AND function. Well, I have 2 logical tests in my AND function, so I can type a closing bracket again to close the AND function. Now I'm back in my if function. Excel is telling me that by this little box. I'm in the logical test, but I already completed my logical test, so I type a semicolon to go to the value if true. Well, if true, it's gonna show the text OK, and not true, a semicolon to go to the if false function. Is the text not OK. Again, always text between quotation marks, and I can close my if function and my function is ready. Just press enter. Well, the values are empty, so it's not OK. We said if it's a value 1 is a 2 or a 4, so I can give a 2 value in here, and value 2 is a 6 or an 8. So I can type in a 6. I see my result is okay, so it meets my requirements. Because value 1 is a 2, and it needs to be a 2 or a 4. When I change this to 4, it still meets the requirements. And value 2 is a 6 or a 8. It's a 6, and I can change it to an 8, it's still okay. When I type a 4 for value 2, it's not okay, because value 2 needs to be 6 or 8. So I can change it back to an 8, and I can type a 6 for value 1, and again this is not okay, because value 1 needs to be 2 or 4. So you see, you can combine endless with these if, and OR functions. And like you already saw me doing, was just always take a look to this little box. It tells you where you are in your function. I said it much times before, and this is really important. It helps you to keep a clear view of your function, and it helps you to navigate through the function. Excel always tells you which argument it needs in which function. So when you have a difficult combination of a lot of if and or, always take a look at this box, because Excel tells you what it needs. So that was my video about combining the if with the and the or function. I hope you learned a lot, and you can make your own combination between the if and or function. If you liked the video, please give it a like, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to see a lot more of my Excel videos. Thanks for watching.